You're probably thinking there's something beyond us, someone powerful watching everything. But there's something nobody told you that could radically change the way you relate to the world and to yourself. Every word that comes out of your mouth isn't just a sound, it's a code, a command, a creative force. What if you found out that you've been speaking as if you were weak, when in reality you carry the same frequency that shaped the universe? And what if I told you that the universe doesn't listen to requests, but obeys vibrations? We live numb, tossing words around carelessly as if they were harmless, ignoring that every syllable vibrates at a frequency capable of moving the invisible structures of reality. What you call a voice is actually an extension of the logos, the creative principle, the original language, the voice of the source, vibrating through your throat. But no one taught us how to use it. We grew up repeating phrases like, "I can't, this is hard, my life doesn't change," without realizing that we were sculpting our reality, building walls with those complaints. The logos is not just a philosophical concept, it's a tool, a direct access to the quantum field that responds to sound emitted with coherence, intention, and emotion. Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter Days, the forgotten triad. Thought, feeling, and speech. When they are misaligned, they create chaos. When they are unified, they transform reality. Throughout this video, you will understand why your voice has enough power to reprogram the field around you, how the ancients have known this for millennia, and what modern science, from quantum physics to neuroscience, is finally proving. You are the emitter of the reality you experience. The question is, are you speaking at the right frequency? You always had the power to alter reality, you just didn't know it was encoded in the way you speak. If this truth resonates with you, if you feel it's time to stop speaking like a victim and start declaring like a creator, then subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Your voice is too important to remain silent. Dr. Jacobo Grinberg. In his study on the field potential, he said that everything is vibration, and that consciousness is the mechanism to modify it. He maintained that our perceptual apparatus is what collapses reality. Therefore, the act of speaking with intention is not just communication. It is the emission of a concentrated frequency that gives instructions to the quantum field on how to condense around you. The word is the manifestation of your consciousness over the space-time lattice. And even before religions, books, or schools existed, words were already sacred. The ancients knew that the universe was created by a sound. A vibrational command that broke the primordial silence and gave shape to chaos. And from that same chaos, life, the cosmos, and everything we know emerged. In Genesis, it is written, "Let there be light." And there was light. That wasn't poetry. It was a metaphysical record of what science is just beginning to understand today. The word is a vibration connected directly to matter. The physicist Max Planck, father of quantum theory, stated that everything we perceive as matter is actually condensed vibration. This means that reality is not made of things, but of frequencies. And what is the most powerful frequency-emitting tool you possess? Your voice. Every time you speak, you emit a wave. And that wave, charged with intention and emotion, travels through the quantum field, altering the invisible geometry that structures your life experience. Ancient traditions called this logos, the divine word, the word that creates. In Egypt, it was represented by Heka, the magical power of the spoken word. In Hinduism, it is the mantra that vibrates and brings the subtle into the material. In all these cultures, there was an understanding. Speaking is not communicating. Speaking is creating. Cutting-edge science confirms this. Studies in cymatics, the science that visualizes sound, show that sounds organize matter. Grains of sand on a vibrating plate align themselves into perfect geometric patterns when exposed to certain frequencies. Now imagine your body, your relationships, your external reality being shaped in the same way by the words you repeat every day. This is not a metaphor. It's vibrational mechanics. This is where things get even more intriguing. The language you use not only affects what's outside of you, but it also changes what's inside. Every I am you say is an update in the source code of your consciousness. When you say I am a failure, the field registers that command. When you say I am light, that same field responds with vibrational coherence. The universe is not judging your words. It only responds to the emotional frequency they carry. And if you manifest it that way, you can make everything keep going wrong, when the only thing that's wrong is your thinking. They taught us to use language as an outlet, not as a tool for creation. How many times have you complained out of habit, spoken badly about yourself out of routine, declared failure as casually as talking about the weather? And how many of those words turned into repetitive experiences, patterns that seemed like bad luck? But they were just the consequence of a poorly given command. And even if you don't believe it, the universe is an excellent stenographer, but a terrible editor. It writes down exactly what you dictate to it. More scarcity. Noted. More drama. Done? He has no sense of humor. It only senses vibration. So if you're putting out bad vibrations in a bad moment, know it can get worse just because the universe is listening to you. But this is where everything starts to change. Because if you have the power to create with your voice, you also have the power to recreate. The key is in the awareness behind the sound. The voice without intention is noise. The word without presence is static. But the conscious word, aligned with your inner vision and charged with the right emotion, it becomes a ray of light that pierces the quantum field, reorganizing everything around you. Physics calls this the collapse of the wave function, the transformation of possibility into reality through conscious observation. You speak, not just observe, you command. And you might ask, how do I do that? Who do I turn to? Allow me to tell you the following. You don't need permission to access this power. It's already yours. It always was. Cementer. Cemetery. Next to me. What you need is to adjust the frequency of your speech to the vibration of what you want to manifest. And that starts with a simple and devastating question. Maybe it's time to be silent for a moment. Not to silence yourself, but to observe what energy you have been feeding into each word. Because when you speak, you're not just describing the world, you're programming the code of reality. And if your voice were a divine instrument just waiting to be tuned, you could say anything. But if you don't feel what you say, nothing happens. This is the truth that no one taught us. Emotion is the fuel of creation. A word without emotion is like an arrow without a bow, a command without energy, a promise without a soul. The vibration of your voice only gains real power when it is fueled by an aligned emotion. And that's where many fail. They say, I am prosperous, with their hearts tightened by scarcity. They repeat, I am love, with their bodies still trembling from rejection. And then they wonder, why doesn't the universe respond? The universe always responds, but not to what you say with your lips, but to what you vibrate through your body. The field of reality we experience is reading your emotional frequency much more attentively than your memorized words. Again, this is not a metaphor. It's science. Neuroscience today confirms what the mystics knew. The body is an emotional antenna. The neuroscientist Antonio Damasio showed that emotion is the neural map of the state of the body. It's not a side effect. It's an essential component of perception. What you feel directly alters the way your brain interprets reality. Emotion, therefore, is the filter of creation. When you feel fear and talk about courage, there's a vibrational short circuit. The universe receives the fear, not the words. That's why repeating affirmations without emotional coherence doesn't bring about transformation. You can say, "I am confident" 1,000 times, but if your physiology vibrates with doubt, it's the doubt that will be encoded in the field. The subconscious, as taught by Joe Dispenza, it doesn't understand language. It understands the pattern. It responds to what you feel continuously, not to what you try to say to convince it. But this is where things get even more fascinating, because when emotion and words align, something extraordinary happens. The body becomes a bridge. Reality bends. Candace Pert, in her research on neuropeptides, called emotions the molecules of experience, showing that specific feelings release substances that influence the entire organism. When you vibrate with love, for example, your body releases oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin, a chemistry that not only improves your mood, but also tunes your internal systems toward states of openness, creativity, and connection. That not only changes how you feel, it changes what you attract, you perceive, and manifest. So you can imagine that if you're vibrating low in negative emotions like anxiety, sadness, or anger, believe me, you're closed off to manifesting change. You're not well, and you might see the path ahead as cloudy. The HeartMath Institute, for its part, showed that states of gratitude, appreciation, and compassion induce a state called heart coherence. In that state, the rhythms of the heart, brain, and breathing align, creating a stable electromagnetic field around the body. This is visible, measurable, and most importantly, it influences the people and environments around you. When you truly feel, you emit a signal. When that signal is consistent, it becomes a vibrational command. But pay attention. This applies to every emotion, even the ones you ignore. Denying anger, fear, or sadness doesn't turn off their frequency. On the contrary, it intensifies, operates behind the scenes, and contaminates your words. You say you trust, but you radiate control. You say you forgave, but you radiate resentment. You say it's over, but it still hurts like the first day. And the truth is, your vibe never lies. And the universe, like a perfect vibrational mirror, can only reflect exactly what you emit. That's why the secret isn't just to feel good things, but to harmonize what you feel. In transmuting, not repressing. Anger, when embraced, becomes drive. Fear, when listened to, becomes alertness. Sadness, when you go through it, becomes depth. When you learn to feel wisely, your emotion stops sabotaging you and starts serving you. And then everything changes. Your voice stops being an attempt and becomes an energetic affirmation. You no longer speak to convince, you speak because you are convinced. And that difference vibrates in the air. But have you trained your emotion with the same attention with which you try to change your words? Your inner energy is compatible with the reality you say you want to create. Because no matter how beautiful your affirmation is, if it doesn't carry the right emotion, it doesn't go beyond being just sound. Now imagine, What if each of your feelings was an invisible color that paints the world around you? Are you coloring with light or with shadow? Well, think about it this way. You live surrounded by an invisible field that responds to every nuance of your vibration. It doesn't matter if you believe it or not, that field is there and it's listening. It listens not with ears, but through frequency, through resonance. That's why it's not just about what you say or feel, but how all of that vibrates together in the space around you. Vibration is not an esoteric concept lost in the air. It's a measurable reality. Everything vibrates, everything pulses, everything emits an energetic signature. And yours is programming your life right now. Modern physics no longer debates whether this is real. It just wants to understand how. String theory, for example, suggests that everything that exists is made up of tiny vibrating strings. Those vibrations determine the particles that make up the atoms that constitute everything we know as reality. That means the foundation of the universe is not matter, it's movement, vibration. And when you speak, you vibrate. But it's not just physics, it's also geometry. Cymatics, which makes sound visible, shows us that certain sounds organize physical particles into specific geometric patterns. When a coherent frequency is emitted, perfect shapes emerge. When the sound is chaotic, the resulting shape is disordered. Now replace the grains of sand with your thoughts. Replace the vibrating plate with your energy field. What have you been emitting? What have you been drawing? Your vibration. The invisible. This is where reality starts to gain deeper layers because your vibration doesn't end with you. It moves through spaces. It touches other people. It changes patterns. You are constantly transmitting. Neuroscience has already proven it with what are called mirror neurons. They make you feel in your body what the other person feels. That's why someone who's angry can affect others without saying a single word. And that's why a calm presence transforms the atmosphere. You don't need to speak loudly. It's enough to have a clear vibration. That vibration, which is born from the union of intention, emotion, and sound, is the true command. And the universe, which responds to coherence. It reorganizes itself to reflect what you emanate. Michael Talbot, in his book, The Holographic Universe, explained that reality works like a hologram. Each part contains the whole. That means that every word you speak carries the information of your entire being. When you say something with total alignment, the field understands. This vibration is real, and the field begins to build around it. But the opposite is also true. When you say one thing but vibrate another, the field also perceives it. There is no way to fool the vibration. It is pure, direct, sincere, and responds to the dominant frequency. That's why so many people affirm, visualize, wish, and nothing happens. Because the vibration you're putting out is one of doubt, lack, or desperation. And that is the information that the field uses as raw material. Now stop and think honestly. What has been your dominant vibration in the last few days? Even when you remain silent, your energy is saying something. To transform that, shift your vibration to gratitude. You need to tune your instrument. Tuning doesn't mean speaking nicely or seeming positive. It means creating coherence between what you think, feel, and emit. You feel and emit a vibrational state of alignment. This can be trained. Conscious breathing, presence practices. Meditations with sound and silence calibrate your frequency. They are not magical rituals. They are energetic tuning techniques, tools to prepare your field. Because the real secret is not to talk a lot, it's to speak with vibrational precision. And when you speak with clarity, presence, and conviction, the universe has no choice. it responds. That feeling of saying something with such certainty that everything seems to open up around you. That moment when you speak and you feel your whole body vibrate in unison. That's not a coincidence. It's a coherent vibration. It's your being turning you into an instrument attuned to the whole. Now imagine living like that, with the vibration aligned to your essence. You would stop just communicating and start building. But that requires a decision. Are you willing to stop just saying words and start vibrating what you really want to manifest? We come to the greatest paradox. How can we tune this instrument if we are surrounded by noise and the mind keeps vibrating at the frequency of fear? The solution is discipline. The discipline of silence and immersion and wisdom. To tune your field, you need to replace old patterns of scarcity with a code of certainty. Audible allows you to do this consistently. Transforming dead time like your commute or waiting periods into time for reprogramming. You have a 30-day free trial to immerse yourself in the teachings of the masters of coherence, the secrets of the sacred voice, and deep sound meditations. Don't let the external noise keep controlling your inner vibration. True power is not what comes out of your mouth, but what enters your mind. Use the link in the description and start tuning your instrument with Audible today. There comes a point on the journey when talking is no longer necessary, because your mere presence communicates everything. Your silence resonates. Your gaze communicates. The way you walk becomes an instruction for the universe. That's the point where you're no longer trying to create a new reality. You are the reality already transformed. Manifestation doesn't happen because you asked for it. It happens because you became it. Presence is the state in which the logo stops being a concept and becomes a body. It's when your vibration stabilizes at such a point of coherence that everything around you starts to synchronize. You don't direct the universe out of arrogance, but through alignment. Presence can't be forced. C reveals. It happens when you stop searching for what is already yours and start living as someone who already has it. When you stop affirming and start embodying, that change happens when the previous three pillars, word, emotion, and vibration, are integrated. The word aligns with the feeling. The feeling aligns with the frequency, and the frequency stabilizes in a magnetic field that attracts everything that resonates with that frequency. Here, you don't force doors open. You become the key. That's why so many masters of the past didn't need to talk much. Their presence already changed the atmosphere. Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, all of them represented that state. An embodied vibration, a silence that spoke louder than any speech, not because they were special, but because they became whole. And that wholeness is what gives weight to the word. In that state, every gesture is language, every breath is a statement, every silence is an alignment with the invisible, and everything starts to conspire in your favor. But there's a challenge here, because as you become fully present, you also become a mirror, and everything that is still misaligned around you will come to the surface. People will distance themselves, situations will fall apart, old structures will collapse, not as punishment but as purification. Your new vibration no longer sustains the old pattern, and that can be uncomfortable at first. True presence exposes what still needs to be realigned. But it's in that moment when trust becomes fundamental. The certainty that the presence you carry is stronger than any external instability. The certainty that you no longer need to prove yourself, just keep being. And that by itself transforms everything. presence is the state of the master. It is the end of the search and the beginning of embodiment. And when you get here, something magical happens. You stop wishing for results and start living in the result. You don't visualize to manifest. You exist as the manifestation. Are you willing to stop talking about what you want and start being the frequency of something you already have? Because only when you embody the vibration of your desire does the universe finally recognize you as part of the answer. So, take a deep breath. Feel the silence between each word spoken up to this point. What you're feeling now isn't just understanding. It's resonance. It's the intimate recognition of something you always knew but had forgotten. You are an active part of creation, not a spectator but a transmitter. Your voice is not an empty echo in the universe. It is the instrument that orchestrates the symphony of your reality. Now that you understand that the word is code, emotion is fuel, and vibration is direction, what are you going to do with that power? Are you going to keep speaking in a rush, asking as if everything were scarce? Or will you speak with confidence, like someone who knows they're being heard? If you've made it to this point in the video, you've absorbed a truth that few are willing to hold. This is the mark of a true conscious creator. I want us to seal this teaching with a statement of intention and an act of positive self-hypnosis. Now comment on the phrase, "I am the word made vibration." That is your statement of mastery. The universe has taken note of it. The most transformative sound in the world is not shouted. It is spoken with quiet conviction, with the firmness of someone already living what they long for. So next time you open your mouth, remember, reality listens to what vibrates within you, not what you say. Let your words be clear. Let your emotion be whole. Let your presence be the word made flesh. I remember the first time I felt the power of my own voice. I was alone, at a difficult time, without answers. And on impulse, I said out loud, "I choose to trust," said with such conviction that something inside me shifted. It wasn't magical, but it was real. A calmness came over my body. And for the first time, I knew I had truly listened to myself. Now, are you ready to stop begging for miracles and start commanding with awareness, like someone who understands they are an extension of the divine? The word gives you form, but intention shapes your destiny. The next step in this journey is to learn to hold that frequency, not only in your voice, but in your mind, to attract synchronicities and people aligned with your new code. But don't stay here. Continue on to the next natural stage of your spiritual mastery. Click right now on the video that appears on the screen and go beyond what the eyes can't see. Your power is waiting to be used with precision. Click and I'll see you in the next revelation.